AJ, what stood out to you both about today's practice, but really from the first 3 days of camp?
Just the level of talent that we have in the gym right now. I think the purpose, the intent. I think DA's doing a great job managing us and running it. I think Jay Dudd is doing a great job on the defensive side, and then the young guys got a lot better. You know, like PY is moving different. Jude is getting to his stuff. Pick is playing well. And then just with the additions, like JB is playing great. So there's a lot of talent in the gym. Yeah, it's looking good.
We've heard a lot about these changes defensively. How different do you think the defense is this year from what you guys are trying to do compared to last year?
I think there's going to be not so much gray area. You know, obviously there's things that happen throughout the game that are random at times. But for the most part, we know what we want to do. We know what we're going to try and force them into, and I think we're going to rep that, and we're going to be a really good defense.
You say P1's moving different. What does that look like?
He's just his shot-making ability. I think his pace to the game. Yeah, he's picking his spots. He's doing it on both ends. P1 is hooping.
How would you describe the way that Cam has fit so far, especially with that starting group?
Great. Cam fits in great. He has a quick trigger, so he's always open. He's able to make decisions off the bounce, and he's smart. So, and he's doing it on the defensive end too. And he's communicative, so he's talking. And, he's a hell of a ball player.
You mentioned JB. What have been your initial impressions of him, and what elements is he going to add to what you guys do?
He's good, man. He's good. He's really good. Just his finishing around the rim, his passing ability, just how big he is, and just his presence. Like he's really good. He's really good. Yeah, I think teams are gonna he's gonna give teams a fit. Yeah.
How has the depth of this team added a different level of competitiveness to training camp?
It's big. Everybody is honest. You know, JV keeps Joker honest, and so on and so forth. PY is doing his thing. Juju, even down to our G League guys and our two-way guys, they're killing. You know what I mean? So everybody got to bring it. Everybody got to step up, and it's just raising the floor.
Is it exciting or refreshing at all, just that things are different a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, it feels more like a team. You know, everybody is contributing. Everybody knows that they can contribute in their own special way.
Byron, how do you contextualize when Bruce was with you all, the first run during the championship? What things were easier and then what things became difficult once you worked with him?
I mean, Bruce is such a glue guy.
Yeah.
So to have another glue guy out there on the floor is refreshing because you don't have to do everything. You don't have to patch everything together. So Bruce is doing the little things. He's doing some of the dirty work. He does everything. He does everything. There's not one thing that Bruce doesn't do on the basketball floor well.
At Media Day, I want to say you spent the summer kind of like focusing on your body. What kind of things were you looking to improve? And how did you go about that?
Just mobility. I did a lot of just hot yoga, mostly. Doing different modalities. Just trying to stay on the floor.
You've been doing yoga for a while?
Yeah, but not as consistently as I've done it this year.
You're such an energy guy, Aaron. How do you describe the spirit of this team?
High, real high. It's so early, but we know we have a great opportunity to do something special.
Where does that spirit sort of manifest itself, like within these actual practices? Is it mostly sort of the defensive energy, the effort, that type of stuff?
No, I think it's all over. I think it starts before we even get to the court. I think it starts when everybody's warming up and they get into the weight room. There's not one person missing skipping weights. You see everybody after work getting shots, getting their treatment. So the energy is everywhere, through the coaching staff and through everybody's willingness to learn, everybody's willingness to communicate with each other and wanting to be around each other.
Are there any aspects of the basketball that make you particularly excited?
Any aspects of the basketball?
Yeah, like of what you guys are doing on the actual floor basketball-wise.
I just think it's going to be nice to see some of the younger guys just get busy and get to it, to calm down in the actual game and just kill. That's going to be nice to see.
Added intensity, getting to open up the your rivals in the Timberwolves?
I don't think so. I think it's more about sharpening us. I'm not really too worried about who we're playing. Obviously, the Timberwolves are a good team, so you never know who they're going to play and how they're going to play. So I think it's just more about still polishing and sharpening our game plan.
With your improvement as a shooter, how important is it to be ready for different scenarios and situations against a game?
Against what?
Just in a game, like different situations, scenarios, footwork, like how much does that play into your, I guess, total improvement as a shooter?
Oh, you just always got to be ready to fire, especially when you have Yoke on the floor and you have Jamal on the floor, CB, all these guys are playmakers, you know, so you just got to be ready to fire, ready to shoot, trust the work.
What stood out to you about today's practice and the scrimmage portion of today's practice?
That's kind of all it was. We did some defensive terminology stuff and some situational offense just to clean some things up we saw on tape, and then we went right to playing. Same as the last 2 days, a lot of talent, extremely competitive, watching the first unit play against the second unit, and the guys brought the right approach again. So it's been a really good 3 days. Lucky to see their mentality. Kind of didn't know what today would feel like, because we really did push in the last 2 days, but they kind of found an extra gear and made it what it's supposed to be, which is basically a real NBA game going on for a couple quarters.
What do you tell me about how Peyton Watson's looked, and in particular if his role has changed at all?
Yeah, Peyton's been really good. He's been really responsible with the ball. He's had the ball in his hands a lot with the second unit, and he's made really sound decisions that we're looking for. Sometimes guys go into the summer and they want to show off whatever dribbling mechanics they've mastered, and he's played in straight lines. You know, when you do that, you can be a playmaker, and obviously we know what he can do on the defensive end. So Peyton's been a bright spot. I think the best compliment you can give somebody is he's played like a professional basketball player, and he's been that all 3 days.
Just curious what I know it's early, but what the chemistry of that second unit looks like in day 3, and what JV kind of adds to that group and what you can do with him so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's we all know, legit center that he can play through. This has been good for him to get used to our system a little bit. He hasn't done some of this stuff outside of the couple months in Sacramento, of playing off the elbow and the top of the key, where he's kind of the point guard of the unit. So I have to do him a service. We got to get to some post-up plays and things he's used to. And in the second period today, he played with Jamal, and they had really good synergy. You know, alongside the shooting on the weak side, when you have JV and Jamal playing together, that can be really dangerous.
With Bruce back in the fold, what things do you expect will become easier, not just with his individual presence, but with the team itself, that otherwise wouldn't be possible when it wasn't here?
I mean, Bruce brings great energy, defensive presence, locker room presence. You know, I'll be honest, all the new guys, because Bruce is new, because it's not the same team coming back to. They've all brought their own energy to this. I think that's why it's been so competitive these last 3 days. We all know what Bruce is. He shows up with the right mindset. He's a major reason why I won a championship years back. So yeah, it also, I really mean this, just having guys that have been around the league means a lot to have on the court. They've seen everything, been in all these systems, both offensively and defensively, heard a lot of coaches talk that know what they're talking about. So it's good to have Bruce's leadership back.
Aaron said he spent a lot of the offseason just kind of working on his body. I guess, how has that shown itself, or has it?
I mean, Aaron always seems like he's in shape. I mean, it looks like it at least. No, yeah, Aaron is, he's really focused with this. Talking to him yesterday, and I know I said it yesterday because somebody asked a question, but his approach every year, it seems like it gets better and better, not just as an NBA player, as a human being. He's just such an impressive example of going through life in the public eye and handling it well. And I love when he gets interviewed because he's really interesting and he's really honest. So fun guy to hang out with, and I'm sure he did. Aaron is very balanced in life.
What areas do you feel like you're ahead of schedule?
They're in shape. Not to game 1 of October 23, but what I said, I wasn't just coach speaking. I was hoping that they come back ready to play. We put them in a tough situation. We kind of walked through some things and then said, let's play, and to see where they were at. And this is 3 days of, I know I'm giving Steve Short headaches right now because they did go really hard for 3 days. We'll go slower tomorrow, but they proved it. You know, and I think I just wanted to warn them. It wasn't just about me saying you got to be in shape. It's like once you build a roster like this, it's go time. You know, and the person that's guarding you and that you're guarding can play and could be in the rotation. And those guys have respected that. They've been really mature about it.
Jonas, what's standing out to you about this team after 3 days that maybe you didn't expect coming in?
Well, I expect a lot of stuff, you know. This team, you know, we're just working hard. We just, you know, kind of new group, you know. We got to get some X's and O's going. So working hard, putting a lot of time in just, you know, working out again.
David said that he's kept that second group pretty consistent over these first 3 days. Where's the chemistry at? How do you feel that's developing?
You know, you got to get some repetitions. You got to get some experience on the court, you know, just spending some time playing, you know, getting to know each other. I said many times, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. You know, you gotta invest some time. You gotta invest some, you know, repetition to get to know each other.
How much are you enjoying this style of play?
I do enjoy it. You know, I just enjoy basketball in general. So, you know, it's big man orientated style. So I don't mind it at all. It's always been like that, you know. By communication, you get your opponents confused, and you know you put everybody in place. You know, it's easier to, if you mess up somewhere, you know, by talking you can fix it. So I think it's one of the most valuable things.
AG just spoke and talked a lot about the young guys on this team. What have been some of your impressions of those guys, the younger guys on this team?
Humble. They're humble, working hard. I think when you're a young guy, that's all you need. You know, just get your body on the court and just repetition over by over. So we got that, and you know they're working hard. That's all we can ask.
Have you learned anything about Nikola Jokic being as close as you have been with him the past couple of days?
It's been 3 days. You know, we both still jet lagged, so we don't talk too much.
What about Peyton Watson? How do you analyze and break down his game?
Well, you know, from the past, from these 3 days, you know, he's very aggressive. You know, going down the hill. You know, taking initiating offense, talking on defense, helping on defense. You know, he's working. That's beautiful to watch.
Has anything stood out about the culture?
Second?
Has anything stood out about the culture, the brotherhood of this team?
You know, it's a winning culture. You know, no matter what we do, simple drill, 3-on-3, 3-on-0, everybody trying to win. So that's the culture, and you know, we're gonna keep it going. You know, that's why we brought here. You know, to not just to spend some time. We have a mission, so that's why we're working. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
My first one.
Knocked it out of the park.